My friends, here we are, my last video of 2024, and of course, I've been teasing this for a while. It's my top 10 favorite games of 2024. Last video I did of my top 10 favorite roguelikes of 2024 is going kind of crazy right now, so I really appreciate all the views on that. I had to make a separate list of that because this list would have been saturated with a lot of those games, and I played more than just roguelikes over the past year, so I played a lot more games, and you will see that in just a second. But I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who's viewed the channel, who's liked, commented, shared, subscribed, all the things that you normally do on YouTube. But let's just jump right into my top 10 favorite games. Coming in at number 10, we've got The Cub by Demagogue Studio and Untold Tales. This was actually a really early release. It came out in January of this year, specifically January 19th, and it was the second review that I did on this channel, and this game was really good. It was already one of my favorite games coming out of the gate of this year, really by the fact that the environment and the story and the music in this is top notch. The game itself is just a pure platformer. It kind of reminds you of the old NES classics of old, kind of like an Aladdin or a Lion King or something like that. But what really sets this game apart is the music and the story. It's set in the same universe as the game Golf Club Wasteland, and also I think it was called Golf Club Nostalgia at some point. I've even referred to this game and that as kind of in the nostalgia universe, because even the custom radio is called Radio Nostalgia from Mars. So it's an amazing game. I really enjoyed it because the environments are amazing, the story is great, the music is incredible. I listened to the soundtrack to this game a lot. I even made my own track because I was inspired by this game, and you're hearing that in the background right now, and that was the track that I made specifically to kind of take inspiration from what this game was trying to put out there. So I love the vibe of it, love The Cub. If you haven't played it already, definitely pick it up. It's on sale right now as we speak during the Steam Winter Sale. And if you have played it, let me know if you did. Coming in at number 9, I've got NanoApostle, developed by 18 Light Game and published by P-Cube. I did an entire series of this on the channel when it came out back in September, and this game is tough, but also really fun. I love a good boss rush because boss rushes teach you a lot about game mechanics and what you need to do. It really challenges your reflexes, and this game challenged my reflexes a lot. I died a lot, and you see that over the course of when I've been playing this game. I'm actually showing you footage of me fighting the final boss, which I still to this day have not beaten yet because it is so difficult, because all these bosses do have 2 phases. This boss has a 3rd phase, and even when I got to that 3rd phase, I was like, man, I can't do it. So I got a lot more frustrated, so I was like, I need to take a break from this game. And even recording footage for this last boss, I was like, I'm getting too frustrated. So you're probably gonna see me die a lot, but you can go back and see the series that I did back in September. So I have a whole playlist for NanoApostle, but this was a very fun game, interesting story. The executions whenever you beat the bosses in the game are gnarly. They're crazy. The pixel art is amazing. I love the combat. The music is great. Very much an anime style game. The story is pretty interesting, like I said before. So love NanoApostle. Really fun game. If you played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was a fun boss rush game. Loved it. Loved how difficult it was because it taught me a lot about game mechanics, and that's why it sits at number 9 for me. And coming in at number 8, it's SCHiM or SCHiM. I know someone in the comments of the review I did for this video, I think, tried to get me to pronounce it right, but hopefully I'm saying it right. I think it may be called SCHiM, but fun game nonetheless. I love this game. This is a great puzzle platformer game. I remember when I put out my top 5 favorite games of the year so far, I was kind of comparing this game and Paper Trail, which was also an amazing game, but I put SCHiM above Paper Trail just because I really like the vibe of this game. I love the fact that you are a creature jumping from shadow to get back to the human that you lost. This game has a lot more content packed in it than I thought it would be, and so I definitely enjoyed the amount of puzzling, the amount of things that you can do, and just the vibe and the music and the colors, the amount of light and shadow that is present within this game. I loved it. So go back and check out my review for SCHiM if you haven't already, and just to see my full thoughts about this game. I absolutely enjoyed SCHiM, and that's why it comes out at number 8 for me. Coming in at number 7, it's Arco, developed by Frantic, Max Cahill, BB Keaton Fayer, and published by Panic. I did a preview video when this game came out back in August, and the pixel art in this game is amazing. The music is incredible. I know the characters are really small, and even the preview video that I did for this game kind of covered up a lot of what I was seeing because the characters are kind of more closer to the ground because they really want you to see the beautiful pixelated landscapes that you see in the background. But this game was amazing. When I went full bore on this game after I did my preview video. I played this game nonstop. I mean, it didn't take me that long to finish. I think I probably took about 8 to 10 hours to finish it. So it was a, I guess, relatively short game in terms of games of this magnitude, but it's great. The crazy thing about this is the combat is kind of like a real turn strategy, but you basically are in a time stop state when your turn is going, but you can also see your enemies, what they're about to do as well, and you have to make decisions based on where your enemies are going to be. So like if an enemy is going to jump up, you can kind of see where they're going to land, and so you can either dodge or you can either attack or shoot maybe a bullet in their general direction of where they're going to be. They'll also do the same for you, so you gotta be careful. It gets a little bit difficult, especially when you wind up controlling 3 or 4 characters at any given time, so it gets a lot more tougher at the end, especially with the bosses. Choices actually matter. So like I said, there are 4 characters that you'll be able to control, and some of them can die, which will leave you partyless towards the end of your gameplay. That's what happened to me. I wound up having 3 characters at the end of my game as opposed to 4, and so I was like, okay, I guess I just have 3 characters now, and they all have different abilities, and they also have different cooldowns, different ranges, different attacks. And so yeah, it was tough. This game was a lot. There's a lot of side quests involved in this game, which I didn't expect it to be, so it was pretty nuts. This game was great. I love it. I wish it came out later so more people played it, and I hope a lot of people played it. I'm looking at the Steam page right now, and it got reviewed pretty well. Definitely needs more reviews, but Arco is a fantastic game. If you're someone who needs kind of that Mesoamerican feel, which is not a lot of games that I see have this kind of Mesoamerican, Latin American feel to it, and I definitely enjoyed it, especially the guitar riffs in this game. So love Arco, and that's why it sits at number 7 for me. And at number 6, I got Kill Knight, developed and published by Playside. I did a video with this alongside Europa, an incredibly satisfying twin sticks arcade shooter that has a lot of action. It's very metal based on what you're looking at in the footage and in the box art. So Kill Knight is a fantastic game. It's one of those games that you can just pick up and play, and you're raring to go. You have your different guns, you have different swords, you have your different armors, and you just have varying amounts of objectives to complete. It's like a time trial score leaderboard shooter. So there's nothing complicated with this game. You just pick it up and you go and you play and you shoot and you beat all of your enemies. So it's a fun game. I had a blast with this game. It was very difficult on the outset with this game. Once you get into a flow of what this game has to offer, you can kind of get some pretty good stuff going in with Kill Knight. So I definitely enjoy my time with Kill Knight. I definitely want to play more because I haven't really fully immersed myself in what this game has to offer, so I definitely want to go back and play it, especially when it gets more updated. So love Kill Knight. 6 and number 6 for me. Now we're in the top 5, and coming in at number 5, it's Europa, developed by Helder Pinto and published by Future Friends Games. I said this in my video, and this is one of the more beautiful games that I played this year, and the music is satisfying, the platforming is satisfying, the puzzle solving is satisfying. It's not a terribly hard game, but it's just an experience. It really immerses yourself, and it really reminds you that games are art too. And so this is one of those games that's like, oh yeah, this is an art performance piece. It's definitely a fun game to experience if you haven't already. It's not a very long experience, but it is definitely worth your time and your money if you haven't picked it up already. I love the narration. I love the story as it's being built up, that you're listening to your father's narration about what happened to the world that you're on as you're traversing, as you're puzzle solving, as you're figuring out all these things. And it has a really, really fun ending that I definitely don't want to spoil if you haven't played it already. But Europa is a game you definitely need to experience for yourself. Has amazing music, and I definitely recommend you pick it up. And that's why it is my number 5 favorite game of 2024. And sitting at number 4, it's Biomorph. I've talked a lot about Biomorph on this channel, including me my review of Biomorph when it came out back in April, because the devs have been so kind to me. It's been one of my most popular reviews on the channel, so thank y'all for watching that review. So Biomorph is an amazing Metroidvania that I played this year. I didn't play a whole lot of Metroidvanias, even though it's one of my favorite genres, and so I played this one, and I played with Mobius Machine and maybe a couple of others. But yeah, Biomorph was one of my favorite games that came out this year. So everything from the abilities of you morphing it into the enemies that you beat, to the world building, to just the action, the combat, and how everything flows together. And I talked about that a lot in depth in my review, so check that out if you haven't already. And it is a great game. I definitely enjoyed Biomorph, and I definitely appreciate the folks at Lucid Dream Studio who developed and published this for supporting me in this channel. Biomorph is a fantastic game. Pick up Biomorph. How much more can I say about Biomorph? It's a great game. Before I get into my top 3 games, I do want to shout out some honorable mentions that I have of some games that I haven't fully finished or have not finished yet. And the first game I want to talk about is The Edge of Allegoria, which just came out a couple of weeks ago. So my buddy Joe, friend of the channel, Joe, has been cooking with this game, and this game is hilarious. And I've talked about it enough on the channel, including doing an interview with Joe himself. And this is not your grandpa's RPG. This is not a game for kids. There's a lot of hilarious humor, a lot of great dialogue, and behind all of that is just a really fun game with you gaining your abilities and you mastering them, and you just going throughout your entirety of your adventure, and you're gaining XP, and you're gaining a lot of power. And so it's a lot of fun, interesting and fun references. If you're into things like dark humor or into current events, there's a lot of fun things that happen revolving that. Something happened during my playthrough that has caused the game to be a lot more harder than I thought it was going to be, and I'm not going to spoil what that is if you haven't played it already. So yeah, Joe, I didn't realize that was going to happen, so thanks for making the game harder by me killing this one enemy. So appreciate that, and it's an achievement that exists within that. So The Edge of Allegoria is a great game. The reason why it's an honorable mention, I haven't finished the game yet because it is as I talked to him, he said it was going to be 20 hours. And so I'm about probably halfway through my playthrough right now. So I haven't fully finished it. So I don't really know. I'll come back with my full thoughts on it probably sometime in 2025 when I do finish it. But yeah, definitely pick up The Edge of Allegoria. The next game in my honorable mentions is Animal Well. And yes, I know it came out in May. I just didn't get to it when it came out, and I'm actively playing it right now. It's a great Steam Deck game, by the way. I love Animal Well. I talked about this in my Game Awards video, that it was firmly sitting in the backlog, and now I'm pushing it out of the backlog and I'm playing it actively right now. That's why it's in the honorable mentions list, because I have not played it all the way through yet, but I can see it. I can see what Billy Basso was doing. I can see why people love this game so much. It is a fantastic game. The fact that there is a custom engine that made the file size of 33 megs is astounding by itself. The music is great, the pixel art is great, the abilities that you get are great and are very unique to what you're doing. There's no actual combat. You're using things like firecrackers and a disc and bubbles to be able to traverse this area with a lot of these crazy and bizarre looking animals. And so as you go deeper and deeper into the Animal Well, so to speak. So there's a lot of fun things within this game. I haven't discovered everything yet, which is why it sits in honorable mentions for me. Great game. Love Animal Well. I get it. I understand it now. And the last honorable mention I want to talk about is Ultros. And Ultros is an interesting game for me. I actually inspired friend of the channel, Cognitive Clips, aka Jordan, to make an entire video of this game, which he completed. But I actually didn't complete this game at all because I got a little bit frustrated in the gameplay, because the way that the gameplay works, it's kind of a time loop. I mean, spoilers for a game that came out in February of this year, but it's kind of a time loop, and it just got a little bit too trippy for me, and I just couldn't figure everything out. I got a little bit frustrated. I had to back away for a while, and the footage you're seeing is me playing it after several months of not playing it for a while. But it's a fun game. I understand how great it is, but one of the great things about this game is the music. The music definitely sets this game apart from a lot of games that had come out in the same genre. The music is incredible, very mysterious, very I want to say, not say psychological, but more just ethereal, and definitely fits the vibe of you being what is they describe as a cosmic uterus. So definitely fits that. The entire soundtrack is on Spotify or maybe Apple Music if that's the vibe that you go for. So it's a fantastic musical soundtrack, definitely a soundscape, definitely something you can meditate to. Fun game, but there's just a lot going on with it, so that's why it sits in honorable mentions, because I just didn't finish the game. So there you go. So what do we have at number 3? Coming in at number 3 is yeah, Dungeons of Hinterberg is incredible. I talked about this when I did my preview video. I talked about it again when I talked about these two amazing games that were on sale during the Steam Autumn Sale, that and Sea of Stars. But Dungeons of Hinterberg, being that it came out this year, is an incredible game. I love the heck out of Dungeons of Hinterberg. Everything from the combat to the story, the social aspects of it were amazing, and definitely love the vibe of Dungeons of Hinterberg. Love the update that they put out, that you'll be able to customize Louisa, added some more quality of life features, added some more abilities in there. Fun game, great Steam Deck game, great PC game. I definitely encourage anybody who hasn't picked up Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's definitely a great game, and I really appreciate the folks over at Microboard Games and Curve Games for supporting the channel by allowing me to play this game early to show it off to you. And definitely it's my top 3 favorite games, so obviously I really love the game so much. So incredible game. Pick up Dungeons of Hinterberg. And sitting at number 2 is okay, I know I talked about Hades 2 a lot. I've played a lot of Hades 2 on this channel over the past couple of months, and I've talked about how Hades 2 is probably my game of the year for this year and next year. But here's the deal. Hades 2 is still in early access as of right now, so it's not 1.0. So at our time, I felt a little bit conflicted of putting an early access game as my number 1 game. So there's another game, and you can guess what it is if you know this channel very well, if you've been with me for a while. But Hades 2 is a great game. I love it. I mean, you've seen how much I've been playing this game over the past couple months. What more can I say about Hades 2? It is a fantastic game, has more content right now than Hades 1 does. And again, I have something planned for all the games of Supergiant Games. I have something in the works for all of that, but Hades 2 is going to be a part of it. And yeah, Hades 2 is amazing. I don't have much more to say about Hades 2 than what I've already said about Hades 2 and what you've seen on the channel, but Hades 2, my number 2 favorite game of 2024. And that leads me to my game of the year for 2024. Incredible game. I enjoyed Neva so much. Such an incredible experience. I think I had a very emotional response by the end of Neva, and I talked about it in my review. Maybe not to the level of emotional depth that maybe I'm thinking about it right now, because it was a fantastic game. I absolutely enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite games of this year. Beautiful as all get out. And someone in the comments of the review that I put out for Neva talked about Nomada Studio didn't just craft a game, they crafted art. And I definitely agree with that 100%. This is art. This is why when people say video games are art, they put the games like Neva, and it is an incredible game. You know, if you played Neva, you know if you've seen it. They talked about it a lot in the Game Awards and in the Indie Game Awards. It's a fantastic game. It is my game of the year for 2024. An amazing experience, and I definitely appreciate Nomada Studio for crafting this game and all of it. And I know it's been getting so much praise ever since it came out back in October. So shout out to you, Nomada Studio, for crafting my favorite game of 2024 and one of my favorite games of all time. I think I'm probably gonna put this in probably one of my top 10 all-time favorite games list, which maybe I should do something like that in the future. But yeah, Neva is a fantastic fantastic game. Check out my review if you want to know more about my love for this amazing game. And that is it. That is my top 10 favorite games of 2024. 2024 was an amazing year for video games, and 2025 seems to be shaping up to be a pretty good one as well. I talked about that in my year 2 channel update video about the games I'm excited for, with Hades 2 going 1.0 and several other games going 1.0 within that. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun year. I'm definitely excited for all the games that are gonna come out in 2025. So I'm curious to see what my favorite games list is gonna be for 2025. But I can be patient. I can wait. I can just kind of ease into it and not rush myself into the end of next year, because I want to enjoy the experience of all these games like I've enjoyed the experience of the games that I've played over 2024, like games like Neva or Europa or Dungeons of Hinterberg or Arco or SCHiM, NanoApostle, the Cub, all of the games that I've mentioned in my top 10 list. So yeah, I'm excited for what is to come in 2025, but also it's just a celebration of the amazing games that have come out in 2024. So I really appreciate all the devs and all of the publishers for making these fantastic gaming experiences for us to enjoy, for me to create content out of, create these reviews and these videos like these, so I can just talk about how amazing this art form and this medium is. So love video games, and I hope you do too. This is my last video of 2024. I'm going to take the week off and kind of get prepared for what is to come in 2025, be it my UFO 50 series and things I have coming down on the pipe. So be sure to stay locked here on this channel, and I really truly appreciate everybody who's taking the time to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the Basic Fun channel. I really do appreciate it. It's just been fun to see the growth of this channel over the past year. I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to interact with more of you over the next year, over the next few years, however long I want to keep doing this. So happy New Year to you all. Hope you had a great Christmas. I'll see you guys in 2025. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. My name is Chike, and I'll see you next year. Peace out.